One thing I noticed on my channel is that a lot of you guys love Samsung television, so I decided to pick up one of their more basic models. This is the U7900F. This is where they start off with the Crystal UHD technology for 2025. Now, I did pick this TV up from Samsung.com. One of the benefits of ordering from Samsung.com is that you can get points on your orders, plus you can get up to 24 months same as cash, and that's going to come in handy for the holidays. And you can order their full line of televisions from Crystal UHD all the way up to the QD OLED models. And this includes appliances and the full lineup of the Samsung Galaxy phones. A size TV like this, you're talking about 12 bucks a month. But let's talk about some of the different things that this TV has to offer. Now, first of all, it does have Crystal UHD processor, has HDR, as well as some Samsung TV Plus, and that gives you streaming channels. The first thing I want to do is just go and get this out of the box and get it all set up so we can take a look at it and just see how good it really is. So let's go ahead and just drop this down. And the good thing about being a 55-inch, they're not that heavy. But here's the thing, they do make this TV from a 50-inch all the way up to an 85-inch. So there's different sizes that you can get that's gonna fit your needs in your home, whether you put it in a living room, down in the basement, man cave, bedroom, you name it. There's a size for you. Let's go and get the rest of this out of the box. And the TV looks packed pretty well. There's no foam on the sides. There is a piece of foam on the front of the TV, and it's not that heavy. So good thing is I can get this out by myself. So I went ahead and got the TV out of the box, and over here it does come with a warranty card, and this has some basic information. And then it comes with this little packet here. This shows you basically how to put the TV together. We also have the remote control, and the remote control has some basic features like you get to your settings. You do have this special key, and this is for certain Samsung apps, navigation, as well as your home, back, volume up and down. And just so you guys know, if you press in the volume control, it actually mutes it. And we have some hotkeys here at the bottom. Now, here's the thing. If you go to Samsung's website, it does say that it will work with Bixby, but I think that's running through the application, but I'll download the app and we'll check that out a little bit later. You're also going to get a power cord, and you're going to get these feet, which I showed you earlier. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and mount the TV up. And what I like to do is basically put some type of cloth down. And what I'm going to do is lift the TV up, kind of like this right here. And then we can get to the bottom of the TV. Oh, we got the feet in the way. Now, if we go over here to the bottom of the TV, this is where you're going to put the feet in. This is a port for the bass response. And then we have another port, another speaker down here as well. And then this is a little press button so you can get through some of the basic, turn the TV off and get to the inputs. And the way these feet work, you just kind of line them up and snap them into place like that. The only thing is, I'm going to try to see if a soundbar would actually fit below this TV, because without having that height adjustment, it could be an issue. Now I have this smaller Samsung soundbar, and I just went to try it on this 55-inch. And as you can see here, it actually wouldn't fit below the TV, which is kind of interesting. But with that to the side, let's just go ahead and put that here on the floor. And then if you look at the feet, let's go ahead and see how far they're apart. And again, this is a 55-inch. We're looking at about 31 inches between foot to foot, and maybe about a little bit over 2 inches tall. So that gives you an idea. Now, when it comes to the back of the TV, this TV is very, very basic, very limited, but it's not all bad. If we look here, they still use a metal chassis here. You have some screw holes so you can mount it on the wall. And then we have a power cord on this side. We have a HDMI Ethernet connection. And then over here we have another HDMI, a USB, and we have a TV tuner. So very, very limited, but for a lot of people, you can just put this literally in your garage or second room and stream content. I did turn the TV around so we can just check out glare in a normal environment. So you can see here, this is with the screen protector on. It's literally like a mirror. But I want to go and pull the screen protector off so we can get an idea of how this screen reflects. Now you will have this little red tab down here on most Samsung TVs. See that right there? And then we can just grab it like this. satisfying. Now back to the glare. I can still see myself as far as reflection wise. So again, this is not gonna be ideal if you have a lot of windows and lights in your room. Keep in mind, this is a basic Samsung television, but what I really did like is the S95F OLED because that has that matte finish. Beautiful television for not getting that much glare. But now I'm going to do is go ahead and set everything up, and so we can take a look at the picture quality. And I'm very excited to see what this TV actually looks like. And just so you know, there's two ways you can set up any Samsung televisions. One, we have a barcode where we can scan with a phone and set up through the Smart Things application. And that's what I'm gonna end up doing, and that's to give you an idea what the Smart Things application looks like. You can add different devices. It's a pretty cool setup. Or you can use remote control. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and get everything set up so we can start looking at the television. But keep in mind, I made a full video how to set it up with either or. If you wanna go check it out, I'll leave a link in the description below. Now, before we get into the features, I did find out if you wanna use voice command, you can download the Smart Things application on your smart device, and you can control all the main features of the television. Plus, if you hit this button right here, you can go home, back, and this is where you can find your Bixby voice commands. Open up YouTube app. And as you can see with the phone, with the voice command, it will start opening up applications for you. One thing I want to point out here is that if we go over here to the side, we do have all the same features, like you can add the different profiles for your children and anyone in the home so they have their own interface. You can search with the remote control, but if you download the Smart Things app, you get the voice command. Then we have Daily Plus. And it's gonna give you features like your Smart Things applications, karaoke, and a few other items. And then we do have game settings, and I'll show you some gaming a little bit later on in the video. But just keep in mind, this TV is compatible, adding a controller to it. Plus you have access to these cloud applications if you pay for these services. Back to the home screen, one thing people can't find is the apps, and there it is right there on the home screen, but you need to sign into a Samsung application to get access for it. And this is where you can download multiple applications if you can find the one that's going to meet your requirements. The last few things I want to show you is under connected device. This is going to show everything that's plugged into it. And if we go into settings, we have all your controls right here. And this includes sound settings, Bluetooth, as well as your Wi-Fi and a few other features right there. But now I'll show you the operating system. Let's take a look at some demos to see how well this screen performs. Now, watching movies on this TV, I say that it has some really great pictures, but keep in mind, since it doesn't have all the local dimming zones, you may see just some slight grayish areas up here, but the reproduction on this TV is actually looking really good. When watching movies on this TV, just keep in mind, it's not gonna have the inkiest black levels, but Samsungs always have a good picture with punchy colors on it. And as far as picture profiles, this TV does support HDR, HDR10+, HLG, and that Crystal Processor 4K will upscale some content from your 1080p up to looking like 4K quality. Now, to show you some picture profiles, I want to pause this scene right here so we can see what it has to offer. So the first thing I want to show you is dynamic range, and you can see it brings out a lot more colors and details in the image. And if we switch over to standard, you will still get a great picture, but it won't have as much brightness. Here's the eco mode, which is great for saving energy. Plus it's going to give you actually a little bit darker contrast on it. And then we have the movie mode, which everyone loves. And this is going to give you the most natural look to it. This TV also supports filmmakers mode. So there are some differences between the different picture profiles when it comes to SDR. Now I have the TV in HDR10+ mode, as you can see there by the indicator, and this is dynamic. This is standard. And then we have the eco mode. And we have movie mode, plus you still get the filmmakers mode. So those are the different settings for HDR10. Now keep in mind, I am using an Apple TV. That's how I'm able to manually switch this over to HDR10+. But if you just use the built-in applications, if it sees HDR, it will switch over automatically. Next, we're going to check out the input lag when it comes to gaming. And keep in mind, this is only a 60 Hertz tester. But what we need to do is go down to gaming mode, and we're going to manually turn it on. Now we have it turned on, we can now check the input lag and see how fast it's receiving the signal. And as you can see there, it's getting around 10.2, which is great. And I would tell you that even with a 1080p input lag tester, most Samsungs will get really good results like that. Now we're going to take a look at the PlayStation, but keep in mind this is a 4K 60 frames per second television, and it does support HDIG, which is a standard for gamers. But now let's check the auto low latency and the variable refresh rate. So if we go down here to where it says screen and video, we can then go to information for connected HDMI devices. And as you can see here, this TV does support variable refresh rate up to 60 Hertz, and it does support HDR. If we go to 1080p, it supports the same thing. Now, if we go back into the resolution, it's saying it doesn't support 1440p on the PS5, but we'll check the Xbox in just a second. And I will say, if you go down here, it does support auto low latency. So that's the different options for the PS5. Now we switched over to the Xbox. Let's go check out the settings in here. And under TV and display, we can see that it does support 4K, as well as 1080p and 720p. So we're getting the same options that we did get on the PS5. If we go over here, you can see it will not support 120 Hertz. And since Samsungs don't support Dolby Vision, you will not be able to get Dolby Vision gaming. Well, if we go into the video modes, everything is supported except for Dolby Vision. So it will support pretty much everything that you get in those different consoles. So if you're a gamer, those are the options that you have. Now, since the Xbox, you can't override the HDMI, let's go ahead and try that out. And what I'm going to do is switch over to HDMI right here. And then if we go back in here, there is an option for 1440p. Let's go and click on it and see if it'll take it. So it did accept the 1440p signal, so it will support it to some degree at 60 frames per second. Now, if we try to switch this over to 120 Hertz, the TV will not take that signal. Now we're going to try 1080p at 120 Hertz. And again, it does not support that resolution at that frequency. So 60 frames per second is the max you're going to get out of this television. I want to do some basic testing on this television, and I'm going to turn the light off so we can see the TV that much better, so we can see how well it really performs. Now, the first thing I want to try out is motion at 24 frames per second. And surprisingly, this TV actually looks very smooth, being the fact that it is not Samsung's flagship model. So if you're looking for motion, this TV actually is going to look good without any adjustments whatsoever. And now I switched over to 60 frames per second, and it is very smooth. So if you're looking for motion, Samsung is one of the best in the business. So it's going to look smooth just about on any content that you watch on it. Now, when it comes to skin tones, I would say dynamic mode is going to bring out the most brightness and make the TV look a lot more like it pops. Standard mode kind of dims it down, but it still has better colors on it. If we go to eco mode, it still looks good, but it is a lot dimmer. And then we go to movie mode, I think it's going to look great, but it's going to have that warm look to it, which you can adjust. And then we have filmmakers mode. So skin tones, I think it all depends on which profile that you put it in. But I think all of them is going to work good. Depends on your particular preference. Now, when it comes to blooming, I don't see much on this TV, but one thing I do notice is you're going to see the backlights. So right here, you're getting a little bit of gray area, as you can see right there. But I had to be realistic with you guys. If you buy this particular TV, that this is something that you're going to expect on certain contents at certain times. But rest assured, whenever you look at dirty screen, I don't see much on it. There's just some slight areas like here, but for the most part, the screen is pretty solid according to what I can see, and I don't think it'll be a concern. But you will notice it just slightly on some of these other gray levels. So dirty screen effects is good, but it's not perfect. Just giving you guys a clear understanding of how this TV actually performs in real time. Now, as far as upscaling, I think it does a pretty good job with the Crystal UHD processor. This is 720p, and I would say that this U7900F will do a decent job, but I will tell you there's a huge improvement on the image quality when we use 1080p content. So if you have any of the services like Netflix, Hulu, or any of those paid services, I think you're going to get a great picture just for everyday TV watching as long as you have 1080p and above. but 720p will work just fine. I want to pull out this demo just because it doesn't fill up the screen, and I'm going to show you how you can crop the image and make it larger, because a lot of people do watch older content like their family memories. So if we go into settings and click on picture and then go into expert settings, down here at the bottom we have picture size. So right now we have it in 16:9, but if we hit custom, this is where all the magic happens. So if you go down here to zoom in position, you can literally stretch this screen out to customize it to fit just about any type of signal. So again, if you have those older home movies and you want to be able to fill up the screen, look at that, a perfect fit off this 480p content. And I don't know a lot of TVs that can do this, so Samsung is going to be very unique with this particular feature. As far as audio, this TV has 20 watts by 2 and it's limited with different sounds. So you have your standard and amplified. So there's not many settings whatsoever on this TV. Now if we go into all settings and then go over to sound, we can see all the options. So you can hook up a sound bar, but it is recommended to get a Samsung sound bar that supports Q Symphony, which is going to allow you to use the TV speakers along with a Samsung sound bar. So again, there's the sound settings. And if we go down here, this is the Q Symphony setup, and then we have an expert setup. Now inside of here, we're going to have your balance control. It does have a built-in equalizer. This is where you could turn the eARC off and on. And then we have digital output, auto volume, and you can reset the sound. So pretty basic options, but it does have enough to get through most systems to get better audio out of the television.
This is a Tech Steve voice audio test to see how good this TV sounds.
Love no falla, te llevo pa' la playa, el sol está puesto a fuego.
On this video, I covered just about everything you need to know about the Samsung U7900F. Now, I will tell you that you can screen share with a Samsung phone, and it does support Apple AirPlay too. So if you have any kind of Apple device like a computer or an iPad, you can stream your videos over to this television as well. Now, I will admit this is a more basic television, but like I said, I picked it up on Samsung.com for only $279 at the time of this video. And if you guys are interested, I'll leave all the links in the description so you can go check out one for yourself. Now, I do think this is a decent television. Of course, if it's me, I'm going to go for a more higher end one like the OLEDs and things like that. But if you're looking for a basic model for your bedroom, garage, I think it's going to work just fine for you. So if you guys have any questions, make sure you leave that in the comments below. I'm Tech Steve. Thanks all for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.